All right, let's move on down to our next story and let's take you away from Nigeria. Now let's go straight to Zambia. The European Union has committed 26 million euros towards improvement of access to justice in Zambia. Undikumbukire project, that's UP Zambia, has continued to help inmates in Zambia with the help of enabling access to justice, civil society participation and transparency at a budget of 26 million euros.
Joining us this morning is Sara Lara, Executive Director of UP Zambia, to enlighten us on this project. It's such a delight to have you here this morning. Sarah, we see that you've been helping inmates in Zambia. Can you tell us about your objective?
Yes, UP Zambia has now been involved in providing legal services to inmates in Lusaka-based correctional facilities. We started in 2017. Our primary target is children who are finding themselves in conflict with the law, but we also, through help desks that are located within the correctional facilities, we provide to all people who are detained, because many of them can't afford lawyers and lack the basic understanding of the legal system and how this court process that they're about to undergo actually impact their future.
Sarah, which areas are you targeted and do you have any other partners on this project?
The EnACT project that's funded by the European Union actually is targeting the Copperbelt province, Luapula province, Southern province, and Lusaka province. UP Zambia is the primary service provider that's in Lusaka province. And the European Union is taking a strategy in trying to get all of the European nations within Zambia, represented in Zambia, who want to fund justice projects to actually coordinate through the EnACT project. And so there's funding coming from various EU nations, and they are actually funding local organizations that provide legal services so that people in custody can access justice.
Now, Sarah, this is such an enormous task that you have taken on filling the gap in Zambia, talking about the justice system there. Can you tell us some of the challenges you've been through, or yourself and your team have gone through in the quest for justice?
Well, I think the biggest challenges are actually faced by our clients. The prison system that is there, like in so many regional countries, is kind of from the colonial age. And so many times these correctional facilities are at 300% capacity. So one of the challenges we have is to try to reach each and every person in custody and try to see how we can assist them and actually limit the time they spend in custody in very difficult conditions, as well as most people can't afford lawyers, particularly children. In the past, we've seen children having to conduct their own trials, cross-examine witnesses, etc. And one of the approaches UP Zambia has taken is actually to partner with recent law graduates who are just stepping in. We train them on how to assist children in cases. And so we think that pairing has gone very well. And we do see changes happening, particularly the current president knows what it's like to go and be within the justice system, and he's really put a big emphasis on trying to improve the respect for human rights of people in custody.
Quite interesting and quite a noble thing to do. But let's also look at the fact that justice, like they say, is served. But what is the justice system like in Zambia, and how would you rate it in looking at other African countries as well?
Well, I can say that the justice system does struggle because I think there's a basic lack of legal literacy amongst the people that come before the courts. Again, there's a lack of affordability of lawyers, so people have to do their own cases. I think that Zambia is taking a very progressive approach. In fact, hopefully within this year, they will be updating the juvenile justice laws that have been in place since 1956, which was even before Zambia's independence. So I think there's a hope that things will continue to develop and progress. But, there's still some ways to go, both in knowledge from the everyday person of the justice system, and as well as growing capacity of those who are hearing the cases, and even growing capacity for legal representation for people appearing before the courts.
Now, Sarah, can you walk us through the support system that is being put in place by your organization when it comes to these children? We understand that children is your main target, getting them out of juvenile prison. What happens when they come out? How do you incorporate them back into the system to ensure that they don't find their way back to the four walls of a prison?
Yeah, so you highlighted a very critical issue. Initially, when UP Zambia was founded, we were focusing on providing legal representation and helping very cases that had really gone off track. And initially we thought, oh, if we put a lawyer in the mix and actually bring these cases to a close, this is the most pressing need. We're dealing with children. The legal situation they're facing is just one small piece of the puzzle. Many of them come from broken homes or are suffering from extreme poverty. And so very quickly we realized we needed to bring in a social element. So we have psychologists that can meet with the children when they're in custody and even afterwards. We have a family therapist who actually goes into the homes and sits with the family and tries to discuss what is going on in the home that's causing this child to be finding themselves in these situations. We found many of the children are also dealing with substance abuse. So we began doing some programs that will help children understand more about substance abuse and how they can overcome. We have sports activities, counseling activities, and we're looking on how to get children back in school and with skills training if they're in a mental space to be able to actually take advantage of those activities. So when you're dealing with children, you really have to take a holistic approach. You can't just sort out their court issues because they're walking right back into the situation that got them there in the first place. So it's very important that you go down to the root of what the child is facing and try to address that and give them actually a real fighting chance of taking a more positive path.
All right. I'd like to ask this, Sarah. Tell us, what's the government support like, especially with you and, of course, the rest of the team members trying to make sure that you help juveniles and get them back on track in their lives?
What I can say is that we actually have been working quite well with the correctional service, with the judiciary. There's a number of stakeholder bodies like Child Justice Forum and another body called Triple CI, where all the justice stakeholders sit together once a month. And it's actually, they're ready to hear the challenges that we're facing. And often they turn to Up Zambia knowing that we've been on the ground, whether it's in the correctional facility or in the community or in the police station. And so I think that even though sometimes there's a lack of resources, there's really a willingness for these government leaders to hear out what is going on and really jump in to address certain complicated situations. So I think that there is definitely the will to improve the situation, and there is a responsiveness when certain difficult cases are brought to their attention.
All right. I want to say thank you so much, Sara Lara, for joining us all the way from Zambia. Up Zambia, it's called, and you are doing a great job. Keeping it up. That's what we're going to say here. And well done. Well done.